Rather insanely, I thought I was going to get to finish this off a couple of days ago, but life has intervened. I haven't got around to it, but now I'm here to finish this off. So, in the last video, in case you haven't seen it, we did Armed and Dangerous, Coast Control Center, Avalanche, and Dungeon Delving. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more decks to test. This has been up for quite a while now, so you probably will be familiar with these decks. But we're going to hop in, and we're going to hop in first with Fireworks, which is your classic Izzik spell deck. In fact, shall we take a quick peek at it to see if it's got anything interesting in it? I don't think so. It's got multiple choice, really good card, really good flexible MVP type card. As you can see, because that's true, they already given us one of it. Creative Outburst, again, another really interesting card, they only gave us one of it. Prismari Command, again, another interesting card, only gave us one of it. So, as you can see, the really interesting cards, they haven't given us very many. Although we do get to test Demilik, which is an interesting new card. We get to test out Kazza Royal Chaser, which has been around for some time but just hasn't found a space in the meta. And we get to test out Arcane Investigator, which is another one of these RNG type cards that are in the Dungeons and Dragons. So, yeah, let's just hop in. It's an Izzik spell deck. Let's see how it goes. Now, the one thing that you would have noticed looking at the deck list is the lack of draw. Spell decks need to be able to cycle their cards. If they can't cycle their cards, you're in big trouble. We need a free mulligan here because we've got all red cards and blue lands. So cycling the cards is key. And this deck doesn't have, so this deck doesn't have any card cycling. So inevitably, we're going to run out of cards because that's how spell decks work. You play your cards, then you run out of cards. I'm going to play the dual coloured land because it's a tap land. So what they tried to do actually with the deck is they tried to draw on cards from across all of the sets that are around at the moment, which I think is quite cool. We're going to foretell this now. And we're going to hope that we get a land, because then we can play Pledge Mage to defend us and have the Demon Bolt open. So the key to this deck quite clearly is to get this Rockside Sorcerer out, and then every time we cast these spells we get to ping something. Obviously the Rockslide Sorcerers themselves are 3/3s, so it means that if you're able to both ping something and keep the 3/3s out, you get to win the game. So we let this go down, and then our Demon Bolt, which has been kept for this moment, gets to kill that angel, because that angel's a big problem. Okay, so we get to play the first of our Rockslide Sorcerers. Okay, we've been given encouragement to be super greedy, so we're going to try and get our second Rockslide Sorcerer out. We can ping this. And we're going to hold on to all of this, because what we want to do is we want to do our Mental's Guidance. These are wizards, so we get to draw our card. It's what? We get to scry and draw. So now we really need that land drop. Well, there you go. Magic is easy. So we're gonna kill this. We're gonna ping that. Ping this. We roll the 10. Get an extra 2 of damage to the face. We can send all of these in. I'm quite surprised he didn't trade that, but who knows what he's got in his hand. Clearly has something. So the next time around, the pings are going to the face, so we can threaten lethal. Does he have the land? No land. Okay. Oh, well. Do we have 5? No, we've got 4. So we're going to scry and look for a land. So ping. Yeah, we could take another one of those. Ping. Yeah, we'll definitely take one of those. And then we play the land so that we've got a multiple choice open for the next turn. And then we're going to ping some more. Ping. We'll take the land. And now we need a big spell. So that's too much land now. Okay. So I think he really has to block. He should really have to block. Okay, he doesn't care about lethal, so that's okay. Okay. So he's enchanted our creature, so he thinks we're all over and done with. We can play a land. So I think if I play this, yeah, I get to remove the cat, which is okay. And I think if I do this for 2, I think he has to return this card to his hand, and that leaves the 3 open for me to hit. Okay. Oh, well, that is very annoying. So we're going to play the tapped land and the Maelstrom Muse here, and we just need to draw a spell and then we'll start to threaten lethal. He's thinking whether to power up his... he decided against it. He thought he wanted to match my board. So what we need is we definitely need not a land. No, we don't have to block that now. Okay, so... So we hold again. We get one last chance to draw a spell. He needs another creature. The 1/1 is of no use to him. Let's see if NG understands this. He does not understand this. So we're going to block this one and we're going to let this one go through. Oh crap. Christ. We did not draw a spell. So, good game. We move on to the next one. So that is a quick peek at the Prismari, or the Izzet spell deck. I feel like this is a deck where they wanted to show us some cards. I don't feel like this is what I would call a competitive deck in this current meta. So I think they wanted to show us the utility of multiple choice in case we didn't know. We did know. I think they wanted to show us the value in Prismari Pledge Mage. It is really, 2 mana for 3/3, which becomes active every spell you cast. If you've got a spell deck, that is really good. I don't think Thundering Rebuke is very good because it's sorcery speed, and when in the same deck you have Demon Bolt, which is instant speed, and you can foretell it and then play it for 1. You're just basically highlighting how great Demon Bolt is if you can foretell it. Agar fits more in a giant deck rather than anything else, and this isn't a giant deck, so it seems a bit out of place here. And the spells aren't cheap enough to make Mara Mystic a very good card. Mara Mystic is the sort of card you want to get onto the board and you want to play 1 and 2 cost spells. And the only 1 cost spell you got is Demon Bolt. So it seems a bit out of place. Rockside Sorcerer, as you saw, was an okay card, but just okay. Basalt Ravager, you can see why that doesn't get much play, because it doesn't. We didn't get to really see Demolic, so I'm kind of tempted to play it again to see Demolic, but Demolic is a one-off, so there are chances of us seeing it in the deck. 1 in 60. So I don't know. We'll play it one more time. We've got time. We'll play it one more time. But as you can see, I don't think this deck is built correctly. I feel like this is one of those decks they've built just to show us cards, not necessarily because the synergies are very good or they want to lean in into any particular thing. And especially when you see those old cards, you feel like they're sending that message, hey, these cards are cool. I bet you haven't seen these cards. To which most people's reaction is, yeah, no, we've seen those cards, we just didn't want to use them. So, that's that. I expect these cards in the end are going to upset people because of the die roll. We'll see. So it's a very slow hand. I started off with a really slow hand and it seems to get slower over what I drew. The good news is that there isn't a super fast deck in the meta, so I don't necessarily need to worry too much about it. So we're going to play Prismari and we're going to get ourselves a treasure token, because that gives us a bit of a ramp so that we can get into our sorcerer and have some mana open. Okay, so our sorcerer is here. Now the one is triggered by a wizard or a spell, an instant or sorcery spell. So any of the things in my hand will trigger it. You could have Demon Bolt. He has Royal. Okay, so we're going to get the Royal Chaser down. And we're going to do the Mentor's Guidance now as well, because I sense my Royal Chaser won't survive. We can take one of these, a hardy creature, and we can take one of these too. Okay. So it was worth us attacking because we weren't going to block his creature. So I think we're going to play Prismari Bridge, Prismari Pledge Mage, and I'm going to play the Maelstrom Muse as well. And I can go and attack with this. And the Muse is there basically just to cover these two cards from attacking. Yeah, this is a wasted attack, but I'm not going to trade. Now, I actually think that's a waste, but we're going to find out, aren't we? Well, indeed it was a waste. We could do... Oh, we could... Come on, dude, do math. So we could kill this. And we can go and attack face. Now, the reason why I attacked, even though he's got this bit of equipment here, is because if he pays 3 to equip his Berserk Mate, he doesn't get a turn. He obviously realised this, which is why he chose to do something else. Okay, so we're going to take the 2 here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to turn this into a treasure token, because we need our 3rd red. And then what do we want to do is we want to use our Meteor Swarm for X. We want it to be 2. And then we want 2 creatures. And then we want to something like that. And hopefully, because he has nothing on the board, Scald can't trigger too many times. Ugh, of course. But he does generate a 1/1. I don't think he could play everything. Okay. If he equips, that takes him to 5. Can he go to 6? GG. What up? So, as you can see, is it spell deck? That's not very good. So we can move on to the next one. So the next one we're going to try is the Growing Hunger, which is a Golgari counters deck. Hopping in to just view it very quickly. What do we have? We have the Snakeskin Veil, obviously, to give us some counters. We've got our bimodal card that gives us a counter. We've got Ochre Jelly, which is the new ooze, which gives us counters. Exponential Growth, wonderful card. We've got the Oran ooze, but we've only got one of those with counters. Grokmore, counters. Moss Pit Skeleton, more counters. So basically, we're going to make some counters, make a big thing. Obviously, the card they're trying to feature here is the new Ranger class card, which means if you attack, it gives you a 1/1 counter. You really want to take it to the level 2, because the level 2 is where the fun happens. also they're featuring this power word kill, which basically kills everything except angels, demons, and devils and dragons. So not too bad. And you've got Drana in here. Drana has not seen any play, mainly because a 5-mana 4/4 is just not enough, and it doesn't do anything on entry. So if you remove it, you lose all that value. So nobody wants to do that. So lots of counters and a Drana basically is what they've got here. So let's make some big creatures. So this deck is interesting because of the cards which are not in it, which you would typically see in a counter style deck, especially a green counter style deck. Today you would typically see your favorite colorless snake, which is not here. You'll definitely see a Shambler, which is not here. You will definitely see your Hydra that increases its counters by itself, which is not here. So it's trying to make a counters deck out of cards which are not the best cards, and you can tell that by the costings. But you know, it doesn't mean that it's not a good deck. We'll see what we can do with it. So this is a bit of a slow start because all the action starts at turn 3. But because I've got power word kill, that's why I'm not too worried. Although seeing Rakdos means maybe dragons, maybe demons, maybe devils. Not angels though, thank God for that. So we're gonna get Dusk Mage out because our Oran Reef, we want to put some counters on it. Now the fascinating thing about the way this deck is built is they built it in such a way as to encourage you to play in a tempo sort of way, where you play a thing and you can protect it, as opposed to flooding the board with cheap things, which is typically how you might want to play this sort of deck. We're going to kill this thing straight away because we can. It's got nothing to give you. Make it indestructible. There's no other creatures on here, so he's now in big trouble. So we're gonna get a oh well, there you go. So here's the billion trillion. He's got mana open. What does he want to do? He's thinking about whether he should do something. We're going to get this forest. Well, when I get priority, I'll take a forest. Now, I'm going to play Struggle for Skemfar now, because we can't have this generating 2 mana every turn. So I'm going to dare him to have the 2-drop spell in his hand right now to protect it. If he does, it's probably game Shiro. So he wasn't able to protect his dragon, but he was more than able to kill my thing. Okay, so obviously this is another dragon. So power word kill does not work on it. Lovely. We're going to play this as a land because we're actually lacking more green land. The good news about this dragon is it's just a 4/4. Its effect is an ETB effect, so it's done. But he does now have oodles of mana. So we have to let this go. There's nothing we can do. The good news is we've got power word kill for that. So we do live to fight another day. This creature's a dragon warrior, so I can't even kill this. That's not bad. But if we do, we lose big play. But this is reach. So yeah, I think this is the play we must do. So we're going to see how this goes. But it's not looking good. I'm on the rack here. I don't know what sort of card he's got in his hand. Don't know what this treasure deck is like. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to use big play to force a trade. A really favourable trade. Where he loses the dragon. I don't think he'll attack with a dragon now that I've got reach. We're going to find out. Okay. So we're going to do the blocks. And if he tries to buff the merchant, I've got power word kill open. Okay. Does he have another creature in hand? So we're gonna just kill this guy. He's got enough mana to crack a treasure and draw a card, I'm sure. Or can he do it twice even? I think he could do it twice. Yep. But he has no creature, so that means I've got at least a top deck or two to see if I can draw something to help me get back into the game. So Kalane has come down, he's going to get a treasure. If he uses the mana from treasure to cast things, they get 1+1s. So I think he's about to use that right now. Yeah, so that's got ward. It comes on as a 7/7. It's got ward. What is the ward? It's got on it. Oh, the ward is discard a card, so it's not terrifically bad. I need to draw a creature. Didn't draw a creature. This game's over. He just had more creatures in his deck. But we're gonna go again, just one more time with this. So the disappointing thing is actually exponential growth is a really good card, but just haven't had an opportunity to showcase it with this deck. I don't think this is a card, a hand we can keep. No, we will keep it. So, I'm going to play Snowland because it comes in tapped. So we can't come until 3 and 4. This is the life game deck. Okay. So Hagra Constructor is coming in next. Oh, he's got the unicorn. Now that sucks a lot. It does. So we could play the Constructor. The only super good news is that he'll be too busy to trying to kill me, which means if I get enough mana up, I can do an exponential and kill him. So the way exponential works is you double it. It costs 2 mana for each doubling. So if we were to double it, so to double this to 20, you would have to double it first to 4, then to 8, then to 16, and then you're over 20. You're at 24. You're at 32. So it's like basically 3 doublings, 6 mana. So it's a very expensive card. But in other formats where sort of mana is easier to come by, it's good, really good. So unless he's got a way to generate some life, we should be able to hold his unicorn at bay. Well, that sucks. Okay. So that's 1, and that's 4. Yeah, we'll take that. Okay. Nope. We're gonna hold that too. There you go. So we have the 2 greens and 1 doubling, which is not enough. We need more doublings. Also, if they wanted to make it ideal, it would have been a card you could play at instant speed. Okay. So we're going to to see if he's going to come in with this. Okay, so we're going to block this. We don't care about that. We're going to see. Oh. Okay. So. Yeah, we can put it on this one. So. We're going to hold this open. I think we're off to the races, maybe. So he has gone to level 2. This is tapped, so we've got things to attack here. Now we've got 1 double in, we've got 2 double ins. So we're going to play this, and then we've got 3 doublings. But for now, we're just going to attack just with this, and we're going to see if he's going to want to go and play for this one. He does not want to play with this. Okay, and then we can play this with the kicker. Okay. So, we're now off to the races. We're now off to the races. Okay. So he's looking for a card to play. Did he get lucky? He got a lifelinker. Got a lifelinker, yeah, you can play it straight away. It'll give him 1 life. He's 1/1 counter and scry. So we're going to double this 3 times. So that'll be to 6, to 12, to 24. Oh, okay. So I'm thinking maybe he brings a little bit of pressure now. No? Okay. So, how many doublings do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So not quite enough. So we're going to hold on. We're going to hold on. So 7, you minus the 2, that means we've already got 4 mana, that's 2 doublings. The spell costs 2 to cast, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 3 doublings. So not quite 4. 4 is the Murder She Wrote. It doesn't matter what we've got. So he's going to be giving everything some big things. Yep, he's going to be scrying. Counters. Yep, he's away to the races. So the key here is to let him attack with some things, so that he's got less blockers. So we're hoping he comes with maybe 2 or 3 things. Okay. 25. Oh, that's an interesting card. Okay. So he's sending it. Okay, so quite clearly this is not going to hit. We're not going to allow this to hit. We're not going to allow that to hit. And then we can play this. Okay, 7. Okay, he's at 36. We need a land off the top. Okay, so we've got that's 1 doubling, 2 doublings, 3 doublings, that's 4 doublings. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do that. That's 48. And that's Murder She Wrote. Yeah, it's game over, dude. GG. Exponential growth is a serious card, man. It's surprise damage, which is really good. That's a really good game. Ugh, that was tight towards the end. When he grew his life total, I didn't know if I was going to have enough, but then we got there. So, so I've got one more deck to test. So this life gain deck is probably the strongest one here, which is why everybody plays it. It's quite boring. It's the typical thing. You get a lot of cards that generate mana. So, So, we're gonna I'm gonna play the tap land first. I think the hope I want to do is I want to go from the Innkeeper into everything else, because the Innkeeper sort of makes this whole deck work. Basically, every creature you play now subsequently gains you one mana of life, and so it is very useful for generating. Whoops. Sorry, I had to deal with a phone call. So we're going to close this game out. I think it's going to be the last game. And the way we're going to close this game out, as you can see, is I've been waiting to play the starter brawl. That turns everything into 5/5 space. That means that, you know, he has to block with everything. I don't know whether he wants to go for attrition or he's going to give this one up. We're going to find out. Okay. We can end that turn. We could draw a 3 drop back. Oh, this is GG. So I think that is the last game. As you can see, we no longer have it up on the board, so we can't do any more of these games. That was a flavour of most of the decks. The 3 I didn't get to play were a landfall deck, not very impressive. Again, I think they just wanted to show off a couple of the new cards. The new cards being Tarag Gnar, with the 4 cost to double its power, and the Inferno of the Star Mounts, which is a legendary dragon, which is really quite cool. And if you manage to pump its power up to 20, so if you have 20 red lands, you could deal that 20 in any way in which you choose. They've also got the Hulking Bugbear, which is a goblin, which you'll probably see in some of the goblin decks, as well as Hobgoblin Captain, which is really good because it gains first strike if you've got 6 power or not, and as you can see, these 2 alone are 6 power, so it's very easy to get 6 power in goblins. But all the rest of the cards are very familiar and not very interesting. And then in the Sky Patrol deck is an Azorius Flyers deck. So again, lots of things that you're familiar with. The interesting thing here is they're trying to add a bit of Stonebinder Familiar, which has a bit of synergy with Foretell. The cards you wouldn't have seen before are Gazalax, which gives you the option of returning cards to the player's hand. So this is good for sort of blink and bounce effects. So that will go very well with our Prince that scries 4/2, or gives you 4 life. You also have the Dawnbringer Cleric, which is new. And again, you've got 3 options to choose from: the gain 2 life, destroy an enchantment, or exile a card from the graveyard. I think the 1/3 is quite good because it gives it a bit of durability, but I'm not sure if it works in a deck like this. It probably will work better in a cleric specific deck or a cleric counters type deck. The last one I didn't get to play was the treasure deck, but you can imagine what this is because we got a good signal of what was coming from Strixhaven. They've given you more treasure cards, basically. So we've got Kalain, we've got Skullport Merchant, which is the MVP really. You've got Zorn, and all of these cards support making treasures. And if you've got your favourite dwarf in Magda, that means you could pull out dragons for 5 treasures, which is really cool. And then you've got the other sort of way in which you can play the treasure decks, which is to spend the treasure and get the specific effects. And Jaded Sellsword, Hoarding Orc, and other cards support that way of play too. So it's not too bad. They've got obviously all the good cards. They only gave you a one-off because that's the way they are. I think Orcus is really quite interesting. I think the fact that it's a demon makes it probably the worst thing about it. But Orcus I could potentially see playing in standard. I think. I don't think Red Dragon is good enough for 6 just to deal 4. It's just not good enough. So I think this is an interesting deck. It's a shame I didn't get to play on stream. But the event is now done. So these were the decks that were. I hope you enjoyed the video.